Kia ora, good morning. I just woke up. I just had a look at myself. I said I look like Joan Jett. My hair, oh my god, it's like a bird's nest. It's all over the place. I look like I've been out drinking all night. I haven't. I've been asleep. So, first thing, I'm going to try and talk until 9 o'clock to try and get them switching my phone off because it's always between 9 and 9:10. So, because I know you guys witness it, but it's been happening like clockwork at the moment between 9 and 9:10. So I want to see if I can talk long enough to catch it on camera so that you're all witnesses, because that's what I said yesterday. It proves there's no fuel crisis. If they're able to use fuel in a plane for their spy planes, for their spy base up the road there to come and harass a woman who's just trying to build a creative arts school. They're flying the plane over my head every day. So to use this direct energy weapon, which I've been able to prove they have. So something happened yesterday that I realised last night meant that the puppy is safe dream was coming true. And because I had that dream, it also made me figure out who was behind everything that's been happening to me because of that dream. So I went to, now just to recap, remember it started off, I was in Edinburgh. Remember I said the street looked like where I grew up, Palmerston North, and Edinburgh. And remember I said I was confused because I was lost, but I knew where I was because I knew the place really well. Like I knew it like the back of my hand, but I was lost. I couldn't figure out how to get to the next street over, even though this was my neighbourhood, even though I knew the place like the back of my hand, I was lost. So me and the little girl that ended up being me looked it up on Google Maps and got pointed in the right direction and blah, blah, blah. But remember the dream started because I got called into the bank because they wanted to show me that my money from my lawsuit was in the bank. And then then they offered me some champagne and I said, no, thank you, because I don't like the taste. And then the lady, as I was walking out, the lady said, I'll walk with you. And I knew that she was walking me out of the building because she was protecting me. Remember I said I didn't know if she was like divine protection or actual protection behind the scenes or whatever, but she walked me out to the little girl version of me who was holding all those legal papers. She had that little fat Asian kid under one arm and all those legal papers. And there was also scripts, like movie scripts. She was holding legal papers, legal documents, scripts, that sort of thing. I can hear a plane. If I get cut off, you're all witnesses to the fact that they're flying over my house, cutting my phone off. I've caught it loads of times, I have, but I figured out who. So in the dream, when we look up the phone and I figure out where to go, I tell the little girl, when I realise it's a little girl version of myself, drop the fat kid. This kid can walk on its own. It's a toddler. You just worry about the documents and that and keep walking, right? So then the dream switched to me being in the motel with the puppy, and then the dream switched again to me being in that pub. Well, I think the dream of me being in the motel with the puppy was last night. Me being in the in between, because after what happened yesterday, I spent all yesterday evening, last night, and this morning, when I woke up, deciding how I was going to tell what happened. Trying to make sense of it all, because when I got off the phone with my bank, I realised it was the dream, but I had to kind of put my head around it. I had to figure it all out, but I'm pretty sure the hotel dream was, remember, because hotels are the in between then and now, in between me speaking up, i.e. the gin and tonic with the twist of lemon, and me not saying anything. I was trying to decide whether I should say something about what happened or not. I went to sleep dreaming about it, so that could be the hotel. It could be. So then I was in the pub, remember? Walked into the pub and I couldn't find my bag. I ordered a gin and tonic, a gin and soda water with a twist of lemon, and I couldn't find my bag to pay for the drink. So I said, don't worry about it. And then remember Hillary Clinton, Keir Starmer, Donald Trump, Elon Musk. I can't remember if I said Elon Musk, but I know Elon Musk was in the dream because he was standing by the bar, by the karaoke bit. And they were saying, here's your bag here. No, here's your bag here. No, here's your bag here. But none of them were my bag. But I knew that their positioning was keeping them at a distance from me. Remember? And then I said the gay man offered to pay for my drink. And I said that he may have been in the military or something. Remember? And then I went over by the girls that were singing, the two little girls singing We Are Family. I said one was like Hispanic, African American looking, and the other one was white. I'm just having a sip of my coffee. So what happened yesterday was I get paid on Friday and I just needed just a little bit of a shot, just a little bit. I checked how much money I had in my bank, and I knew I had enough. And so I got my little bit of shopping. Unfortunately, I have to rely on Just Eats and that a lot because I can't carry shopping. I tried to do it all on my own where I'd go to my shop and carry the shopping back, but it was a lot of the reason why I was having to deal with so much chronic pain in my guts and that because I'm not allowed to carry anything heavier than a bag of sugar. But if I'm having to carry milk and potatoes and cheese and meat and all that sort of thing, like it kills my stomach. So I have to get everything delivered because I can't carry the shopping, but I also have to pay for it too. It's very expensive, but I don't really have a choice. When I get my big shop delivered once a month, I can be in pain for a couple of days because obviously I buy my bottles of water and I've got milk and potatoes and all the heavy stuff, and yeah, it can leave me in quite a bit of pain. So I've had to learn to work around my pain with the oregano oil that I'm taking to help with the inflammation and all of that. It hasn't taken the pain away, the inflammation, because I was in pain the other day, but it's lessened it to nothing. But it's the scar pain, and then like the scar pain just doesn't go away, and that's horrendous. But I've had to learn to work around it. But sometimes I don't have a choice. I have to carry things heavier than a bag of sugar, right? So I got the stuff delivered and I was happily eating my dinner and this alert popped up on my phone. 2 from my bank and 2 from my email to say that the payment had failed. And I thought, well, how can that be? Because they take the payment before they, this isn't like a trust service. They take the payment before they ring it up. Otherwise, they wouldn't deliver it to my door. So I checked my bank and I could see that the payment had gone out, but I could also see that I had money still left over in the bank. And I thought, well, I get the thing to say you need to make the payment now, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? So I had to ring my bank. Or no, I went to my son and I asked him for help, and he was like, if you can figure out how to do it, that's fine, go ahead and do it. My son is gate. Well, he's by. And he's also in the Air Force Cadets. So remember in the pub where he offered to pay for the gin? That was my son. Turned out it was my son. And my bank is the Bank of Scotland. And remember in the dream I was in Edinburgh? I opened up my bank account in Glasgow when we were living in Glasgow. But yeah, my bank is the Bank of Scotland and its headquarters are in Edinburgh. So remember I was saying in the dream I knew where I was going, but like I was confused because I couldn't figure out why I was lost and confused. It's because I knew what I was seeing, but these the emails and my app were popping up saying that payment failed. None of it made sense. It wasn't making any sense. But I thought, well, if I've got this wrong, I'll just borrow the money that from my son and I'll pay it back on Friday. But like it was confusing. None of it made sense because I knew what I was looking at. So I ring up my bank. Remember in the dream I go to the bank and they were excited to show me the money that had been put in my bank from my lawsuit. And in the dream I saw the zeros. I saw how much I was getting from it. It's like God was showing me how much I was getting from all of this. I'm not going to say anything, but yeah, it would be going into my Bank of Scotland account. They offered me an overdraft. Now, when I rang them up, I said, look, I don't know what's going on, but I'm having a whole pile of trouble with my bank. I explained about the delivery refunds going missing. I explained about how the British Gas had to get the fraud department involved, and that my money had been put in a completely random account that had nothing to do with. I said to her, it's like, we went over everything so well, they couldn't even say, I got one number wrong. Or that I put in, look, that when I put in my account number, I got a letter wrong or something like that, because everything, I said to her, your bank's attention to detail was perfect. Everything was there, clear to see, because the thing is, it's because of my bank that I've been able to prove that there's something going on with my bank account and someone's messing with my bank account, right? And I was telling you this, and I said it's because of your guys' attention to detail that I know there's something not right. So when I rang up, they initially said, because there was an automated thing, you've missed a failed payment. You need to make that payment, blah blah blah. And then when I got through to the woman, her name was Lauren, I think her name was, sweet little thing she was. She was incredible, and she said, "Yeah, you don't have enough money." But she said, like, just transfer your overdraft, because I said to her, I've never ever had an overdraft before in my life, but I don't know what else to do. And I said, she explained how it would all work and that. And she goes, but yeah, you're going to have to contact Uber and remake the payment. And she said, but don't worry, I'll walk you through it. And she was incredible, because I can't work technology at all. So remember in the dream where the woman was walking behind me? It sounds weird, but this is what I've been thinking about. Am I going to move to Edinburgh? Am I possibly going to be relocating to Edinburgh? I mean, I wouldn't say no. I love Edinburgh. Possibly. My shops would do fantastic there. It's one of the places that I have on my list to open up my shops. But the only way I'd move there is if the government weren't Nazis. Hang on, I'm sipping my coffee. Anyway, remember in the dream, the woman was walking behind me and I knew I was safe. I knew I was protected. and she walked me out to the little girl. So I realised that the little girl was me, yeah, because lost and confused in that, was me in a vulnerable state. Because I was saying to her, I don't do debt. I've never had a credit card. I will never rack up debt. I'm not one of these people that owe people money. I was raised that if you can't afford it, you don't buy it, or you save until you can get it, but you don't borrow money from people. I hate it. I'm a Taurus. You know, my twin is a Taurus, and when it comes to, there you go. There you go. 8:56. That was me. My phone just cut off. Yesterday it was 8:59. Remember I said I could hear the plane? I go listen out for the plane because I could hear the plane coming. And when the plane flies over, it's usually a minute or two, and then my phone cuts out. So there you go. This is fantastic because this proves my legal case. The British and American military, where their spy bases up the road, they're using fuel. Remember they're saying there's a fuel crisis. They're using fuel to fly the plane because it's a direct energy one. So, you know, it's an actual plane with like weapons on it that they fire down over the neighbourhood in order to mess with my phone. And they're using taxpayer money and fuel to do it every day. And sometimes if I'm putting stuff out there they don't like, it can be 3-4 times a day. Last year it could be anywhere up to every hour, every 45 minutes they were flying directly over my head. But I didn't correlate the plane flying over until the other day. It's every time this plane flies over, it has a distinct sound, and as soon as I hear it, I know within a couple of minutes my phone's going to go off. So I often jump in and override it before they have a chance. But I wanted to make sure that I caught it on camera this time, now that I know I figured it out, because this dream that I'm talking about has told me exactly who's involved and why I end up with those $0 in my bank. So you're all witness to it. So, yeah, so the little girl, me, when I realised it was me being in a vulnerable state because I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And she said, I will walk you through remaking the payment so that it's clear in your head and then you can relax and blah, blah, blah. She said it'll take the money out of the overdraft. And I wasn't happy about having to do an overdraft, but, you know, the champagne, they offered the champagne, but I said no. But then what happened was when she was walking me through how to remake the payment, now that I had the overdraft in my bank, she goes, we were working it all out. I went into the app. There was no way for me to do it. And I was telling her all the charges. And I said to her, it says, you know, the price and payment complete, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, payment complete. And I said, yeah. And she goes, well, that means the payment's gone through. And I said, well, yeah, that's what I thought. And she goes, well, she said, was it for this amount? And I said, yeah. And she goes, well, the payment's gone out. And I said, well, that's what I thought. And she goes, so why did it fail? I said, I don't know. That's what I can't figure out. I said, when I looked at it, I thought, but the money's gone out. And I have money left over in the banks. You know, so remember in the dream where I was lost and confused about where to go? Because I knew how much money I had in the bank. And yet I got 2 emails from Just Eats and 2 alerts from my bank that even my bank, when I rang them, said it's because you owe money. Even she admitted, and the phone prompter robot thing said you owe money. But then it was like in the blink of an eye everything changed, and she's like, but you don't owe the money. And I said, well, that's what I thought. And she goes, well, that's weird. And I said, see, that's what I'm telling you, someone's messing with my bank. So remember in the dream when I went to the pub and it was Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Keir Starmer saying, that's your bag, that's your bag, that's your bag, that's your bag. And I was confused, like, no, that's not my bag. No, that's not my bag. It was God pointing, and because my son was the one that offered to help me pay what I thought I owed, but it turned out I didn't owe anything. I didn't know nothing. I wasn't in the wrong at all. The bank, she said, their payment system must have crashed. And I said to her, I'm having a lot of trouble with my bank. And she said, I'm so sorry. And I said, it's not your fault. I said, you've been incredible. If it wasn't for my bank, I wouldn't have been able to prove all these glitches. I told her about Deliveroo and how all those refunds went missing. I said I'm owed over 50 quid from money that went vanishing into the ether. I said I've got the emails where they say the money will be in your bank between the next 3 and 5 days, and then it vanished. And when I contacted them, they were like, oh no, we just we took the money out of, we just didn't charge you that amount. And I said, but you charged me the full amount, and I've got proof for my bank details. So where's the missing money? Sort of thing. And I said, someone's messing with my bank. Well, my dream told me exactly who's messing with my bank, and it's Hillary Clinton, Keir Starmer, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, because they've targeted me. So they're messing with my bank. Now, the thing was, remember, the little girl was holding legal documents. Donald Trump's just come out and written I don't know if it's one of his stupid executive orders, most of which, when he's gone, won't even exist anymore. Everything he's built is literally about to get torn down. But with Keir Starmer getting ready to resign, because he's been told he has to resign. So with him gone, remember my blood on his hands? With him gone, then it's only a matter of time before Trump goes. So this is what my dream was talking about. Me drinking my gin and tonic with the twist of lemon is me talking now. Speaking my truth. Having to speak the bitter truth. Because Donald Trump declared, if you oppose me and my government, if you are ISIS, Antifa, an anarchist, or anything like that, we will hunt you down and we will kill you. So he's just admitted that he's behind the reason why there's been so many attempts on my life with the help of Keir Starmer and Elon Musk, because of Hillary Clinton. Because remember, Hillary Clinton's the reason why they started coming after me in the first place, because I was exposing all the pedophiles. And who was all in the pub? The people I'm exposing for being pedophiles. But the thing is, he's only just brought that order in. He's only just made that declaration, and they've been after me for years. Since, from what I can gather, 2017. Like, actually, physically, that's when I know my students and Chris and all that started working together. But I know that from what my military boys were telling me, that they've been watching me since 2016. So all those attempts on my life, he's admitted he's behind it all. Because he hunts and kills people like me who oppose him, because I don't back down. But the thing is, I'm not American. I'm not even British. And I'm a resident, not a citizen of the UK. I'm a New Zealander. I hold a New Zealand passport, which means his targeting of me with the help of Keir Starmer and Elon Musk and Hillary Clinton is terrorism. Because I am no threat to any national security unless you're a pedophile or a devil worshipper, in which case I expose you until you're held accountable. So the reason why all those zeros end up in my bank is because of those people that were in the bar. And remember at the end of the dream where I was watching the two little girls sing? Well, last night when I was going to sleep, I was listening to some New Zealand music, New Zealand band, singer, Dave Dobbin, and a band he used to be in. It was a collection of New Zealand music. And a song came on that reminded me of my Amber. It's one that her and I used to sing all the time. And then there were all these songs that came up that reminded me of home. And the first time I karaoke'd after my sister died, and my cousins being there, and my aunties and that, and a lot of them aren't alive anymore. But I was particularly thinking about my cousin Bernadette, and Amber. And Bernadette's Māori, so she's dark skinned, and Amber's white. So remember the two little girls singing "We Are Family"? It was literally reminding me of that I was about to have an emotional experience, an emotional connection with lost loved ones. I was figuring it all out last night, and I thought, should I talk now or should I wait? So then remember at the end of the dream where that gay guy said to me, I'll walk you out because I'm going that way too. And then Donald Trump came out of the alleyway dressed like a trans prostitute. And I said, wearing a mask, and that things going on behind the scenes because he was coming out of a back alley. And you know, there's all those memes about him dressed up as a prostitute, right? Well, he looked just like that. But I said in the dream that it meant that we were witnessing him. What you see and what you get are two different things, and that he's doing things behind the scenes that he doesn't want people to know about. So that dream was saying he's the reason why I'm being targeted with my bank. He's the reason why I'm having all this trouble. He's behind the whole thing because Hillary Clinton put him up to it. Hillary Clinton is one of his closest friends, whether you want to believe it or not, but there's tons of proof. Because she knew I was a threat to their pedophile racket. Because that's my military boys told me. Oh, yeah, because you're blowing the whistle on the whole frazzled rip and Epstein and all that. You're exposing everyone, so she's after you. I was public enemy number one. But he got Musk and Musk and Starmer to help, because the military base where they're using the direct energy weapon from is just up the road, and it's a UK-US one. So Starmer's allowing a foreign president to target a resident of the United Kingdom because she's a threat to their international pedophile racket. And he's admitted he kills people like me. So he's admitted he's the reason why I've been poisoned 4 times with the help of Starmer. Because of Hillary Clinton. But the fact they were all behind that bar means that they've been kept at a distance, and I'm protected. And my son was the one that stepped up, my big giant gay son. Well, he's bi. He had my back. Even though I ended up didn't needing it, he had my back. The reason why they offered the champagne and I said no is because my bank offered me the overdraft, which is, to me, if you're going into overdraft, you're living an extravagant life you can't afford, and I said I don't like the taste of it. I ended up turning the overdraft down because it was like, well, it's there if you need it. And I said, I've never gone into overdraft in my life. My bank was incredible. They were absolutely incredible. The woman that I had was phenomenal. But even she was confused because it was almost like my bank was telling me, you owe this money, even though we could see what we were looking at on the screen. Even she was like, hang on a minute, but the money's gone out. But at the start of the conversation, even she was like, you have to owe the money, you can pay it with your overdraft. And, when you get paid on Friday, the overdraft will automatically be cleared and, blah, 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 yada. And then she goes, hang on a minute, but the money's already gone out. So even she was confused. And I knew what I was looking at, and I knew my bank statement was telling me I didn't owe money, but I kept getting these prompts to say, you owe the money, you owe the money, you owe the money. The only bit I can't figure out is in the hotel with the puppy. I can't figure out the puppy bit because puppies represent new friendships and needing to keep. It could kind of make sense needing to protect this new friendship, but I don't like. That's the only bit that I really can't understand because then I took the puppy to my boys, to my family's house, the one that I was going to when I was leaving the bank. I took the puppy there. And then when I was at the pub, I needed to know if the puppy was okay. So they put the phone on my puppy to show me the puppy was okay. And it was like I was looking through a magnifying glass, but the puppy was in like a fish tank or something. I thought it was a run, but the only thing I can think of is there is something new in my life or someone new. There is something new other than what I thought was a run. Because now that the events started playing out, it's kind of changed the interpretation of the dream. So there is something new, and I do have to be sneaky with it for its own protection because I don't want any harm to come to this connection. So I've had to be sneaky. So that part of it makes sense because it is also connected to the reason why. Because remember, I stuck the puppy in my bag, and then when I went to the pub, I couldn't find the bag. I took my phone out of my bag to check up on the puppy, but then I couldn't find my bag. So I'm starting to think that the puppy is representing this new thing in my life, being innocent in a situation that needs protecting because it's around things that until I get justice would make them a target too, or rather is making them a target. They've been pulled into something that has required me needing to keep everything on the down low because they're also being affected by what's happening to me because of the people that are coming after me. They've also gotten this other person involved. And it needing to be hidden and hush hush. But that the puppy was fine. The puppy had a full belly, twitching its foot, asleep on its back, passed out, almost tongue hanging out, cute, and being loved on and looked after by everyone in my family home. So that's the only thing I can think. Like my dream was saying, because I saw something yesterday that was very distressing, that I saw something I didn't want to see in someone that, let's just say, a lot of things started making sense. And then also realising that what I saw was in regards to what happened with my bank. But my dream was saying the reason why I get all those zeros in the bank is because of the people in the bar. Because he can't prove I'm a threat to national security. He can only prove that I'm exposing him as a paedophile, which is why he's doing everything behind closed doors. because he knows he can't come after me legally. So, in true Donald Trump style, he's just going to try and silently kill me. And Keir Starmer, I know, is the reason why I was given that poison apple. And me drinking the gin with the twist of lemon, me speaking the bitter truth, me speaking the truth, getting it out. Truth serum, because I can't lie. You see, I have to, when stuff like this happens, my brain has to talk about it. I have to put the truth out there. I can't stop myself. It's just in my brains. But remember, I said going into the bank, going up, my ambition, and the little girl was holding my scripts and stuff. God was saying that what they've done is going to pay for me to be able to turn my scripts and that into movies. Now, the reason why I say, am I going to Edinburgh? Like, am I going to stay in Great Britain and just immigrate, like move up to Scotland? Which, I mean, geez, I wouldn't say no if the government was better. Is because my werewolf movie, I want to make that in Edinburgh. I did have my eye on a place in Scotland too. I had my eye on a couple of places. There was a place, a former summer camp, you know, like Heidi Hi campers, like butlers, but not butlers. It's kind of like that. On Loch Lomond. And when I showed my boys, I said to my son, I'll get you a sailboat because he wants to learn how to sail. So I said to him, if I got this place, because I said, would you be okay with moving back to Scotland to Loch Lomond? And they were like, hell yeah. So I said to my son, I can, if I got a place like this, if I bought somewhere like that, I said I could get you a wee sailboat and you could learn to sail on it. So am I being pointed in the direction of Scotland? Because, I mean, I wouldn't say no, but the government would have to be better. So I don't know. But my dream, me going up the stairs, and I said it's, you know, ambition, and also God was the bank letting me know that God was letting me know, right, get ready because you're about to go through something where you're going to be confused and lost, but you're going to have the right people by your side to protect you, and it's the reason why you're going to end up with all those zeros in the bank. But boom. And now that Donald Trump has come out and admitted in a legal document that he released to the press that he's going to hunt and kill people who disagree with him, it confirms everything that I've been saying. Palantir said the same thing. Sometimes we have to kill our enemies. I'm the enemy because I'm exposing the pedophile human trafficking ring, and all the people that were in that bar who were trying to point out those bags, trying to distract me, look over here, don't look at what we don't want you to see. They're all the people that I've been exposing publicly for their human trafficking. And for being pedophiles. So he's declared he goes after terrorists and anarchists and all that, but I'm not American. I'm not an American passport holder. I'm not even British. I'm a resident, not a citizen. So he's admitted that he comes after people like me because I don't agree with him being a pedophile. But he's trying to hide it under the thing of being an anarchist. Do you know what anarchist means? What an anarchist is? Someone who refuses to be a slave with a master. It's a Greek term, and it basically means without a master. Like, I refuse to be your slave. You are not my master, and I am not your slave. That's what anarchist means. So he'll kill anyone who doesn't agree with him being a dictator. The thing is, he's trying so hard to be like Kim Jong-un. Remember when he had his birthday debacle last year with all the crap tanks that were coughing and splatting and no one turned up? And remember he was caught on camera saying, I want to be a dictator like Kim Jong-un. Remember? And then that gold statue of him, and people saying, that's like the statue of Kim Jong-un. That? He's trying to be like Kimmy. But he's just a joke, because the thing is that Kimmy's smart. Kimmy is very, very intelligent. He's a strategist, and he knows the ins and outs of his country better than anyone I know. He has final say on everything that his country produces. He tests everything out himself. He knows the workings of his country, from the mechanics of it to the robotics of it, better than any leader I've ever seen in any country. I mean, Vladdy is an incredible leader, but Kimmy knows his country from the inside out, whereas Donald is kind of more like Homer's sperm, walking around, banging heads with each other and like he's an idiot. But if you don't agree with him, he said, we're gonna hunt you and kill you. So he's admitted that he's the reason why I've been targeted. So it proves everything I've been saying correct. And now that I've got the British Gas Fraud Department having to investigate my bank, and then my bank themselves have it recorded that shit went down with my bank yesterday that didn't make sense, that she tried to make sense of, but even she knew it was like something unglitched right between it, right in front of our eyes. One minute they were saying, no, you owe the money, use the overdraft that we're offering you. And then the next minute it's like, but hang on a minute, no, you've made the payment. Like, you were right. Like, you were right. And you've got money left over. So she goes, it must have been a problem with them. I said, I've never had a problem with them before. And she goes, well, sometimes these things happen, but I knew that she knew that we'd witnessed something weird. So someone's messing with my bank. And I was right. And whatever's going on, it's going to allow me to put all those zeros in my bank and possibly immigrate to Scotland. Maybe Scotland will be better once Starmer's gone. And now apparently the war with Russia and Ukraine is coming to an end. Remember, in my Blood on His Hands dreams, he fell through the fence with the Ukraine and Russia flags on the wall. So my dreams have been 100% spot on. I just interpreted that puppy dream wrong because the events hadn't happened yet. And the sad thing is that my baby daddy helped them. But Bernie and Amber, we are family, singing on the karaoke. Because remember, I thought it was, the victim speaking up. Now that it's all happened, and I was accidentally listening to those bloody songs, I ran to my sister. I ran to my big sister and I cried. I was like, oh, a stupid song, I said. Amber and I used to sing that when we were drinking in my flat, in my house in Wellington. Oh, I shouldn't have listened to it. I'm never going to get over losing her. But yeah, so then I thought, hang on a minute, karaoke. Bernie, Amber, karaoke night after Laurie died, when we were all together, everyone was still alive, blah, blah, blah. Everyone was still alive. We'd only lost Laurie. We are family. So it's my loved ones on the other side. And yeah, saying we're family, and we've got your back. We're watching over you, and we've got your back. You're going to get over this, and we've got your back, and you're safe, and you're protected. And it's why you end up with all those zeros, because it's Donald Trump working behind the scenes. which is why he was in the alleyway, coming out of the alleyway, dressed as a trans prostitute. Because that's how I see him now because of those memes. But it meaning the man behind the mask, what you see and what you get are two totally different things. And him doing things behind the scenes. And now he's admitted that he kills people like me. Except he's been doing it with me before he came out with this piece of paper that says, we're going to find you, we're going to kill you. So he's been targeting people like me long before he came out with this declaration. And my dream was telling me that God was about to expose it all. That I've been a victim of terrorism because I'm speaking out against the human trafficking paedophile ring. Now the thing is, why would they be using millions of taxpayer dollars, pounds, whatever, and pretending to have a fuel crisis when there's not clearly, to target one woman? Is it because the people that they don't want listening to me are now listening and paying attention? It means that not only is my science as a in the field time theory 100% spot on, because I have absolutely humiliated CERN and NASA. Their scientists are just frauds and liars to go along with that whole Project Bluebeam thing. They've spent all that money to fake stage an alien event that nobody took seriously. Nobody's taking any of it seriously because everyone was prepared for Project Bluebeam. I've been telling people about Project Bluebeam since like 2017-18, so that was what a waste of money. And because I've worked with the council over the last couple of days. Because remember, the council elders are made up of your wisest, most noble ancestors, as well as, and our ancestors being the brethren, the ones that they call aliens. We're all related. If we share the same vitamins, minerals and gases, we're related. And they make up the council. God even talks about the kingdoms of heaven. You know how there's all the thrones, and it's the same thing. We all have our own council. You might call them spirit guides or spirit elders, but they're the same thing. And I've proved twice that they don't need spacecraft, they don't need UFOs, and they don't even need physical bodies to make contact with us here on Earth, which has completely debunked everything CERN and NASA and the American military and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all of them have said. Debunked the whole lot, in quite a humiliating way as well, I might add. So, they don't like me because I expose the truth. But the thing is, I'm so heavily shadow banned and they're still coming after me. Why are they still coming after me? Why did it get worse after I exposed the plane crashes? See, that's the thing. Elon Musk and that have come out and said, yeah, we're taking over the FAA and we're going to be putting AI in the planes and stuff. And I said, oh, so everything I said about the reason why they're crashing those planes, and that's true. Because I said Elon wants to take over the FAA and use Starlink and all of that in order to control the planes and everything. Everyone said I was nuts. They come out and say that's exactly what they're going to do. And then I'm like, oh, well, see, I was right. So they've been coming after me simply for the fact that not only have I been exposing things that they've been doing behind closed doors, i.e. why Trump was in the alleyway, but also it means that people are listening to me. It means that there are people in their lives or that they're doing dealings with people that they want on their side are listening to me. It means that my truth, the gin and tonic, the gin and lemon, is getting out there. And now that people are starting to eat Elon Musk alive and Donald Trump is a gross humiliation, and Keir Starmer's being told you have to resign, it means that people are listening and my truth is gaining traction. And because I said I was going to dig deep into the bowels of my physics to manifest Keir Starmer and Donald Trump being removed from power, it's starting to happen. Everything's starting to manifest. And the fact that that little girl had the contracts in her hand, as well as scripts and stuff, means that the reason why I'm at the bank is the reason why I have those contracts and the scripts. I've got documents. I've got like legal evidence now to say when this goes to court. Although I know the court thing's already going down, but all of this, me speaking out and saying, look, watch for the plane to fly over. If I cut out, it's them, blah blah blah. And then Donald Trump coming out with this, we're going to kill people like you, and he's saying, look, see, I told you he was the reason why I've had 4 attempts in my life, blah blah blah. That's all stuff that I have in my hand now that is legal proof. It's proof that will stand up in a court, which is why the little girl was holding the contracts and legal documents. But she was also holding the scripts for my movies and games and stuff as well, because it was a big pile she was holding. And when I realised it was me, I told her to put the kid down. Just put the kid down, put the Asian kid down, and, the kid can walk by itself. I don't know why Asian. I don't know why. One thing I did realise as well, remember I said the other day, all the countries that claim to have the Hunter virus will be the countries in league with Donald Trump. And that's exactly what's happened. Japan, with the Prime Minister of Japan, the Netherlands, Israel, South Africa, I think. Yeah. All the countries that are secretly helping Donald Trump, Israel, are all the ones that are now, we've got the Hunter virus has been detected here. The fake virus has been detected here. So they've exposed themselves because it is a fake virus and everyone knows it's a fake virus. And they're trying to plug it like it's this big thing, and it really isn't, like at all. Nobody's paying it any attention because everyone knows that it's fake. Canary Islands as well, which I thought was funny, because canary, the bird canary, singing like a canary. They always took the canaries and that down to the mines. Canaries and budgies and that, they took them down into the mines. But yeah, I thought it was funny that it was Canary Islands, because they're very symbolic, that lot. So, yeah, my dream came true. I just had interpreted it wrong because the events hadn't started to play out, but what it was God saying, these people in that bar are the reason why you end up with all that money in the bank. And have you thought about maybe Scotland? Because it would be the equivalent of me going home. But I'll only go to Scotland if the government isn't evil. So, I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, it might not be. It might not be. It might just be everything to do with the fact that the branch for my bank is in Edinburgh, and it's the Bank of Scotland. But it was God letting me know something's about to happen that's going to be the reason why you get out of here and you can make those movies. And the people in the bar are the reason why you end up with all those zeros in the bank, because they've literally only targeted you because you're speaking about their human trafficking. Because you have to remember as well, Hillary Clinton has the Evergreen Line, the shipping company for shipping the children, and Keir Starmer has DP World, both of which were exposed in the Epstein files. And remember I said I thought the little girls were there for the whole Epstein thing and I was watching over them? That is partly true. It was like a double meaning, because Keir Starmer was in business with DP World to traffic the children. Hillary Clinton was in business with Evergreen Line to traffic the children, both mentioned in the Epstein files. And it is said, now that Epstein's no longer in the picture, although he is, that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have taken over for Jeffrey Epstein. And apparently they're worse than Jeffrey Epstein. And that whole legal case in Florida between Musk, Trump and Gates is proof that they took over from Jeffrey Epstein once he was taken to prison and quote unquote died. But I've got all the documents to prove it. I've got all the evidence there to prove it. None of my claims don't have legal backup. Like, there's nothing I can't claim not to be true, because I have evidence, documents, videos, emails, all of it, which is what the little girl was holding in her hand. So you have to ask, why is one woman a threat to all these powerful people if it's not because the stuff that I'm saying is starting to reach the right ears? Because this messing with my bank thing has only been over the last couple of months, but it's only gotten worse in the last month, which means they're trying to double down on the threats and intimidation. But my bank have been incredible, because they have been so on it with where the payments have gone and who it's gone to and when it's gone out and blah, blah, blah. And they leave serial numbers and all that sort of thing, that people like the fraud department for British Gas and that have been able to trace it all back to the original source. And now I've got the bank watching. The bank knows that there's weird shit going on with my account, and it's covert terrorism. I'm a victim of covert terrorism because I'm exposing pedophiles and human traffickers. They're spending millions of taxpayer money in America and the United Kingdom to come after one woman, which goes to prove how powerful I am. I'm literally sitting in a t-shirt and bra and nothing else, a big massive old fat shirt and nothing else in a bra, and yet I'm a threat to all those powerful people. Why? The thing that pisses me off is that it's the taxpayers paying for it. Instead of just going, yeah, all right, I admit it, I'm after her. Yeah, all right, I'm a pedophile. Yeah, she's right. No, they've got to keep doing it. And the more they do, the more evidence I'm gathering, the larger the numbers at the end of that bank statement, the larger the zeros. So he's admitted he's coming after people like me. But he's been doing it for years. But he's only just declared it, like he thinks, so if I let people know I'm doing it now, then when it happens, they say, see, I told you. But for me, he's been doing it for years with the help of the people in my life. Like Chris and Martin and all that. And Chris did say to the boys, I have people in America helping me. If she thought for 1 minute she was taking you to America. So he was never going to let me go. So all the plans that we made about me paying him to give up his job and just travel and let me do what I do while he does what he does. It was all a lie. It was all he was never, ever, ever, ever going to let me go. And then they brought other people into my life to try and con me, to hurt me. Their thing was to try and break me down so much that I would either, have a nervous breakdown, end my own life, or fall into such a depression that I couldn't get up in the morning. Like, what? Was that their goal? By make her fall in love with you and then break her heart, or get personal details from her so we can use them against her later on, blackmail, that sort of thing, honey traps, catfishing, that sort of thing. I'm a Scorpio. You can't break a Scorpio. A Scorpio in reverse is Hillary Clinton. She's a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio in the upright. I glow in the dark. I literally glow in the dark. Scorpions glow in the dark. And we're very, 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 very tolerant and patient. And we will sit and we will watch and we will stay still like the arachnids that we are, and we observe everything. And we will bring our tail up to give you enough warnings. But if you get us to the point where we bring that tail down and we inject the venom, you're gone. You're done. Scorpios are born with the totem of Phoenix. So we're born to tolerate tower moments. We're born to tolerate shocking events. We're born to tolerate things having to be torn down and start again. We're born with that inbred ability in us to be able to weather every storm, because we're born with that power. So I've just been sitting, watching them do everything they're doing and just gathering the evidence, observing, paying attention, knowing that when the time comes for me to bring my tail down and inject the venom, they're done. Well, that's starting to happen now. They end up having to pay me a lot of money. They tried to make out like I was crazy. They can't do that anymore because my science speaks for itself. There is no shrink, no lawyer, no doctor, no person at CERN, no physicist who can explain my ability to do what I do. And how I know what I know and how I see what I see. Because this goes beyond anything that is in a psychiatrist's handbook. The only person who came close to even beginning to understand it was Carl Jung and Friedrich Nietzsche. But Carl Jung would have been fascinated with me. He probably would have been a friend of mine. Because he was the godfather of occult psychiatry. Or occult psychology. Did he call it? Paranormal, I think. He got things wrong, but I corrected all of that. Everything that he got wrong and Tesla got wrong, I corrected. I completed their work and recorrected it where they went wrong. Because you have to in order to be able to have access to time and quantum magnetics. Manifesting time, manipulating time to manifest reality. So that's what the dream was. And I wasn't going to make this video, but it took me all last night until I went to sleep, and when I woke up this morning, I wrapped my head around it all. And then thinking, should I speak out about it? But then I made my coffee and I thought, no, I have to, because the gin. Speaking the bitter truth. To cleanse my palate, to get it off my chest. To tell the truth. Because the truth is going to set me free. And it's exposed Donald Trump being behind the whole thing, and he's admitted it. So, yeah, so there you go. So that's what the dream meant. So my puppy, it means that the puppy, this this new dynamic that I have, is innocent and needs protecting, while I'm in the in-between, but that we're eventually going to find home together. But I know what it's talking about, but I'm not sure who it's talking about. Because it could be something new that's come into my life, or a new dynamic in the relationship, like where we're seeing each other from a new perspective, where we're engaging in a new way, where we're starting from ground zero, where we're doing everything from scratch, from the beginning, starting again. That could be what the puppy meant, but that it needing to be nurtured and protected, because it too was vulnerable to the same reason why the people in the bar were coming after me. And because they come after anyone and anything that I'm attached to. You know, like when I thought I was going to Russia, when I thought I was helping Vladdy, when I thought, you know, and then Trump and Musk stepped in, and then I lost that connection, and I lost that being able to go to Russia or do anything with Russia, in Russia, with Vladdy, for Vladdy, by Vladdy, to Vladdy, whatever. And then, you know, Switzerland, all the stuff started coming up on my ex about Switzerland. They try to sabotage everything. They try to sabotage everything in order to punish me, in order to hurt me, because they don't want me advancing. But what they don't understand is they're not stopping me from going where I want to go. They're stopping me from going where I'm not allowed to go. Rejection is God's protection. It means that God's using them as the vessel, because they're my karmics, right? God's using them to say to me, no, you're not supposed to go to Russia. You're not supposed to go to Switzerland. You're not supposed to go to Canada. You're not supposed to go to America. You're not supposed to go. You're not supposed to go. So he makes them close the doors to point me in the right direction. Otherwise, I'd be wasting time and money and energy trying to force somewhere that I'm not meant to go. So he closes the doors so that I can find the right exit. And he uses them to be the reason why the doors get closed. So they think they have control, when in actual fact they're actually pointing me in the right direction. They're closing all the doors so that I can see the one that's open for me. And it might not be that I'm not supposed to go there at all. It might be that I'm not supposed to go there yet. Do you see what I mean? So everything in divine timing. But I don't know. As he's saying, reconsider Scotland. I don't know. I'm not even trying to figure it out now. I'm just sitting in my bubble, writing my stories, doing what I'm doing, and waiting until I get news for justice. But Donald Trump just opened his big mouth and admitted to everything. And now that Starmer's going down, Trump will go down too. And then we can focus on von der Leyen. And then once those three go down, those three in particular, then the world is going to be allowed to rise up and start again. Because it means that the World Health Organization will be gone, the EU will be gone, the World Economic Forum will be gone. It all gets torn down with those three. So now I've spoken my truth. I lay there all last night thinking, should I make the video? Should I make the video? Although I'll see how I feel in the morning. But then I woke up at like 8:30 something, and I thought, well, if I make the video, then I'll catch them switching my phone off. So, yep, so I was right. I've been right about everything, and now I know who's coming after me. Like, God literally pointed it out. And because it was a bar in public, pointing it out in public, pointing it out in full view of people. And Trump can't deny his own words because it was all over X and it was all over the news. It's in a blue book where he literally says, we're going to find you and we're going to kill you if you disagree with me. But that's in America. But he's doing that to people in other countries. And Keir Starmer's letting him do it. All because I don't agree with them being pedophiles. So if you don't agree with him being a pedophile and a human trafficker, or Keir Starmer, or Musk and that, you're considered a threat to national security because you're not allowing them to do bad things to children and young girls and young boys and boys, because it's not just girls that they take, it's men as well, young men as well. So God exposed them, and God's letting me know. It reminded me of my Let the Sunshine dream, when I got to the hill and God said, the man-woman voice said, you've got one more hill to climb, but don't worry, we're going to help you. And then when I was climbing the mountain, it turned into an escalator. That's what I was thinking of. It reminded me of that dream, with the buffalo carrying my children on his back turned into a man, and he fell at my feet and started crying. He said, what did he say? I'm sorry it's taken me so long, but I had to get justice before I came to you or something. And he was crying. I had to make sure it was safe before I came to you or something. And he was crying. And he fell on his knees and held up a ring and asked me to marry him. And then I put that message out to the world where I said, don't fear what's coming. Omicron's going to save us. Now, Omicron, because this is what I was thinking, right? Omicron is, remember COVID, and the Hunter virus is COVID. And I said that it's actually going to save us, that this outbreak is actually going to save us because it's going to expose the truth. And then after that, we go back to how it was in the 50s, and that where girls babysit and boys mow lawns and you can keep your doors unlocked and opening up factories and all of that. That's in my Let the Sunshine dream. So all this time I was trying to figure out Omicron means little o. Omicron. And it was literally about COVID, because the Hunter virus is just a genetic mutation of COVID. All the pandemics that we've had since, like the plague, it's all, and remember that started with rats as well. Remember the Great Plague of London and all that? That started with rats. That's the Hunter virus. And they were working with stuff back then. That's why they had people like, well, the chemists in that of France, Nostradamus and all that, they all worked with that sort of stuff. Alchemy. They thought they were alchemists, but they were messing around with like strains of flus and all sorts of weird things. So in that Let the Sunshine dream, I was saying about Omicron's going to save us all and don't be scared. Well, now Omicron literally is Omicron, the COVID. And I thought it was like the Omicron system near the Draco system, like the constellations. I was trying to work with it all. And it's literally COVID. This COVID virus is going to be what saves everyone, because it's going to expose the truth. And when it all gets torn down, we get to build again and go back to the way it used to be, like in the 50s and stuff, where we weren't gluttons for meat, where all the factory, I'm in the dream, I remember talking about factories opening up again, going back to being able to keep the doors unlocked and all that sort of thing because of Omicron. Well, Hunter virus is Omicron. So this pandemic was their fatal mistake. because now it's all been exposed. It's tearing everything down. It's tearing everything down. Aliens among us, aliens are here. It's all been torn apart. Pandemics all been torn apart. The vaccines, it's all been torn apart. The plane crashes, it's all been torn apart. Everything that they tried to pass off as truth is now been exposed as a lie, but it's tearing everything down. It's tearing their leaderships down. It's tearing their reputations apart. They're getting dragged into courtrooms and that, being sued with all sorts of things. So many lawsuits against like Musk and Starmer and von der Leyen and Trump now, like they're in and out of court. So many court cases, which is in becoming spellbound as well, remember? So it's all coming true and it's all being torn down. And I said the other day, that's why I'm here. That's why they hate me, because I'm pulling the matrix down. I'm unplugging everyone from the matrix and they're seeing the truth. And the fact that they doubled down on coming after me must mean that people are now starting to see that I am telling the truth and they're believing me over them. And they don't want that, because if too many people see that I'm telling the truth and believe what I'm saying, then they hold no power over their countries or their people anymore, and it will give the people the strength and the power to then work together to tear them all down, because that's exactly what I said was going to happen, a global uprising. And these people will be kicked out of power, where we get to have a clean slate and start again, and make sure that these people like the Tories and the Conservatives and Labour and the Green Party, all these people who are in it for their own personal interests, who have something to gain from it personally, all these people will no longer exist. These people being paid, like reform and all that, to do it, to work in favour of, because everybody knows that Farage is Trump's bitch. Farage would be the one that would absolutely let Donald Trump come in and rule Great Britain, because he's his lapdog. So what's going to happen is, like I keep saying, it's going to be new parties that rise up, and it'll be patriotic parties. People that put their country and their people before anybody else's interests, which is exactly what I said I'd do if I was Prime Minister. I'd put Great Britain over a protective bubble and not let, and I'd deal with the people and the businesses and the industries and the farms, and I'd only be pouring everything back into the people so that everybody was prosperous. And I'd deal with other countries only when it came to like business and trade and all of that, because even though I'm not British, I would be putting the King and the British people first. So, but that's what's going to happen. And that's why they don't want me gaining power as a leader, because they know that once I'm out there leading, I'll amass a following that means the end of everything they've been doing to us for the last few hundred years. A couple of thousand years, actually. So, but too bad, because I'm protected. God let me know that in my dream. They have no power over me. Only God has power over me. And God's coming for them. He literally pointed them out in that dream. I'm coming for you, Hillary Clinton. I'm coming for you, Keir Starmer. I'm coming for you, Donald Trump. I'm coming for you, Elon Musk. Because you did this to my daughter. You did this. And things aren't going to go according to plan, and you're going to pay her a lot of money for what you did. So, and then she's going to lead people. And the thing is that when I win my case against these people, and I know I will, I absolutely know I will, I've never doubted that, even from when Chris put the cocaine in my pizza, even when I didn't know he was involved, I knew I was going to win this case. It will open the door for other people, because it won't just be me that they're after. It's not just me they're after. It's not just me they're doing it to. So it means that it opens the door for other people to hold them accountable as well. So there you go. So I'm going to go and have my second coffee. And I need to figure out who this puppy is. I mean, I know who the puppy is, but I don't have a face to the puppy. I do have a face to the puppy, but I don't know. Anyway, it's complicated. I understand it, but I don't, because games and games being played and bullshit. And anyway, so I'm going to go. So there you go. I've put it out there. I've had my gin. It's out there. So at some point, I'm going to have lots of zeros in my bank because of that dream. That's God letting me know it's coming. It's about to just get ready. And I've exposed Donald Trump as being an international terrorist, covert terrorist. It's terrorism. It makes you wonder about who was behind the assassinations of the Russians and all that, eh? Who really was? Because remember, they tried to blame it on the Soviets and they tried to blame it on Putin and all that, but it makes you wonder, eh? Ooh, it makes me wonder. Speak to you later. Bye.